Happy Pride Month, and welcome to the first in 4 parts of this series, Pride in Cooking. I'm going to be making 3 dishes this month, each inspired by a pride flag that describes me, non-binary, transgender, and of course, gay pride. For each of these 3 dishes, I'm going to gather some pictures that I'll use as inspiration for the dish, and then I'm going to record myself making the dish for the first time. I've put a little bit of thought into the ingredients that I wanted to use, especially to get the colors from the flag, of course, and I've already bought these ingredients, but I haven't actually tried assembling them yet. I haven't tried arranging the dish. I haven't tried anything. And that's what we're going to go through in these videos. So to start off the month, we're going to do the gay pride flag. I'm on a journey to discover what goes into the food we eat, why it matters, and how we can use this knowledge to make our own cooking taste better. After being diagnosed with 17 food allergies, I'm determined to relearn how to cook, rethink how to eat, and reimagine what mealtime looks like. The gay pride flag is the one that people are probably most familiar with. It is the traditional rainbow flag with a newer variation including black and brown stripes. Now the rainbow flag itself, of course, represents gay pride and the fight for equality over the past several decades. The black and brown stripes are a more recent addition and symbolize and acknowledge the important contributions that have made to equality by the Latinx and Black communities. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we'll take a look at the photos that I used as inspiration for this dish. This week, I'm making a rainbow fruit salad. Now, when I think of fruit salad, I usually think of a bunch of chopped and irregularly cut pieces of fruit kind of tossed together. And I wanted to try something different to see if we could make a fruit salad look a little bit better. These 2 shots here show the overall arrangement that I'm going to go for. And what I really like about them is they have kind of a bunch of chunks of different things arranged on a plate, but they still look nice. So I think this one right here looks a little more carefully arranged, like there's pieces and nothing looks completely out of place. It's like it was all intentionally placed there. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I'm assembling my pieces of fruit on my plate. Now, the thing that I like about these 2 photos is the kind of little spires that are made from the fruit. These different pieces here have different sizes to them, and that's kind of what makes this look nice. If I cut different pieces of fruit to have different sizes like this, I think it'll be a nice touch. This one's kind of cool because it looks like this person took the watermelon and cut a hole out of it and actually put some dip or dressing in there. I think I'm going to try something similar. I notice also the leaf back here, which I think is pretty cool too. What I really like about this dish is kind of it uses a negative space to give the impression of a circle. And it's just some kind of powdered like seasoning or spice or something that's been thrown on the plate with some kind of circular, like a bowl or a lid or something covering it to help distribute the spice in that cool pattern. Definitely going to try that. So I think for my plan overall for the dish, I'm going to use this kind of this arrangement on the plate where things are pieced together. I'm going to cut the fruit into different size chunks to help make the arrangement on the plate a little more varied. I'm going to include a little bit of some holes there to add the dressing in a really interesting way, maybe play with drizzling it on the plate a little bit as well. And then I'm also going to use those dots on the plate as kind of like to put some smoothie or puree elements into it as well. So let's take a look at the ingredients I got. We got red, yellow, green, blue, orange. I forget orange. Green, purple. We'll talk about purple in a second. I have selected something for each of the colors of the rainbow on the pride flag, including black and brown. So, let's take a look at what I got. For red, I have strawberries. So I picked out an arrangement of fresh fruit and ingredients to correspond with each of the colors in the flag. First, I have red, strawberries, and I also have a watermelon. Now for orange, of course, the first idea I had was oranges, but I thought that was a little boring, and although I love orange and orange flavor, actually eating oranges themselves, I never cared much for kind of that pulpy texture that they have. So for orange, I'm actually going to go with mango that I got here. And I'm actually really excited about because I found a ripe mango at the grocery store. And if any of you have looked for things like mangoes at a grocery store before, you know that almost never happens. So for yellow, of course, I took the obvious choice of going with bananas. For green, I'm actually going to use some mint leaves. I guess I should hold that upright so you can read it. Mint leaves will serve as a garnish, and mint goes fantastic with fruit. That's just a fact. For blue, I also took one of the obvious choices of going with blueberries. Now, blueberries are another favorite of mine. I frequently use them whenever I'm baking. You remember I used them in my crepes video as one of the fillings, and they're just a healthy grapefruit and very blue. Now, purple is where we run into a little bit of a problem. My original idea was actually to use dragon fruit, and I went to 3 separate grocery stores and could not find any dragon fruit. So, I had to come up with a plan B. I'm actually going to make a purple smoothie to represent the purple in this fruit salad. Now, to accomplish this, we are going to use the old trick of just mixing our primary colors here. So I'm going to make a strawberry and blueberry smoothie, and that should give us a nice purple color. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and of course, black and brown. Now to represent black and brown, I also got some blackberries, and then also some balsamic vinegar to use as a dressing for the top. And finally, a nice light tasty dusting with some cinnamon. Let's get started. Started. I'm going to start with the berries. Blackberries, there's not really any cutting or anything that's needed. You simply just want to give them a good rinse before you go ahead and use them. I forgot to put my mic back on. Now, same thing with blueberries. You're going to want to go ahead and give them a rinse as well before you use them. And actually, the strawberries too. Really, all the fruit it's a good idea with. But take a look at that. Looks like my fridge has partially frozen my strawberries. Alright, so I've gone ahead and put my blueberries in this bowl once I wash them off. That way they're easily accessible. And I have done the same with the strawberries. Now we'll go ahead and tackle the mango first. So to cut the mango, I'm just gonna kind of go at it from the side, roll, side, just like that. Oh no, my mango's bad. Maybe there's a good part to it. Looks like I waited a little too long for my mango there, and it has largely turned bad, so I think I'm gonna cut off the usable parts and we'll just have a little bit of mango in the salad. Unfortunately, I think that's all we're going to salvage out of this. That's unfortunate, but sometimes that's cooking. This is where that bowl to put all of my garbage in would come in really handy. Now, I would like to take a moment to point out from a food safety standpoint that this isn't moldy, it's just a little too ripe, starting to go mushy and get discolored. So I'm not going to worry about washing this off, but if I had cut into this and found that it was actually moldy, I would want to wash off and sanitize my cutting board and my knife and my hands, of course, before continuing. Alright. All Always place the flat side down when you can. That makes this a lot more stable when you're trying to cut into it. Alright, now I need to cut some spires out of this. I just realized as I'm cutting this that I don't have any way to make sure that each cut is perfectly straight. I might end up with some tapered pieces, but being a little bit not straight didn't hurt anyone anyway. Alright, so now I got a couple of nice little spires created for my watermelon, which I think is quite nice. I think I'm gonna make a couple more as cubes, just that way I have some variation with height. Now this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that your clutter can really reduce your cutting space, so it's important to keep your cutting board clean. So I made myself a couple of cubes here, and you can see that some of them are actually, you know, they look pretty good on one side, but as soon as you flip them around, they have all those holes from the seeds, and that's totally okay. Whenever you're arranging a dish, pick what looks best. Banana. So the reason why I'm saving banana to be one of the last things that I'm going to cut is because bananas get kind of that brown coloration when you expose them to air for too long. This feels like possibly the most overkill way of cutting a banana. Okay, I think that is all the prep work that needs to be done. Now we can go ahead and start arranging the plate. I have a nice clean plate here. Make sure that you always start with a clean plate. And let's pull up those pictures for reference. Making the circles with the cinnamon, I got a little dish that I have here that I can place on the plate and then dust some seasoning around. The visual design of where I place the circles of cinnamon versus the rest of the fruit isn't fully thought out, and that's where a little bit of planning would come in handy. But since we don't have that for this first run through, I think I'm going to just make some cool circles with the cinnamon and let the rest of the fruit placement follow. It's important to pour it out of the container away from the plate that you're finally going to present, because you don't have very much control when you're pouring it like this. It's easy to spill stuff all over accidentally. So what I'm doing here is simply pouring in a little spoon. That way I have more control when I'm putting it on the plate, and I'm going to use the spoon to put it through the sifter and sift onto the plate itself. Okay, let's see how this turned out. It's kind of cool. I think I'm going to do another overlapping circle though. Maybe I'll only do like half a circle this time. Alright, that is pretty cool. I think this was a thing on the internet once. Cinnamon challenge? Whew! Whoa, that is spicy. Hold up. Alright, this is kind of nice looking. Get a little bit of an angle there for you. Alright, I'm going to start with a nice red foundation. Get one of these big chunky spires. This takes up a lot of room on the plate. I'm just now noticing that. So I'm going to actually use the little bit on the end of the potato peeler there to scoop out my holes from my watermelon. Try this and see how it goes. Oh, that actually came out pretty nice. Take a look at that. Okay, now what I'm noticing so far is there is not a lot of room on this plate. I'm going to put a nice strawberry there. You know what? I'm going to keep my strawberries together. Alright, so we have red more than covered. Now, I'm going to place some of the yellow on here for the bananas. I think I'm just going to kind of drape these around. Don't want to overcrowd it though. That's like my biggest concern right now. Is that too much? I think that's a little too much, but it's touched the cinnamon, so now I'm committed. Get some of this orange in here. Now again, because of my mango mishap, I don't exactly have a lot of orange to work with, so Now for the green, we're gonna get these mint leaves on here. I love the smell of mint. Just gonna take a little bit. Again, I don't want to overdo it. When you're making a food arrangement like this, you gotta be very careful about putting too much. And just cut these leaves off here. That's good. I like that. I like that. It's kind of neat. It adds like a third dimension, makes the plate stack up a little bit. All right. We've got red, orange, yellow, green. Now some blue. The thing is, I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but I'm still being intentional with how I place each item on the plate. I'm not just tossing it on. I'm actually carefully looking and putting things where I think they look cool. Got some blue in there. I'll come back to purple because I still have to make that. And something like a smoothie is going to be, the little drops on the plate is going to be one of the last things you do anyway. I have brown. I'm going to take my vinaigrette here. This is also something that you should pour into a spoon first before pouring directly on your plate. Ooh. That's strong. Okay, and some blackberries. Can't forget about those. Again, just being intentional with how I place these on the plate. Maybe one more here. That feels like it's pulling this way a little too much. Now for the last part of this, we're going to go grab some of that smoothie. Whenever I make smoothies myself, I always just start with some oat milk, some banana, and then I use some frozen fruit. Alrighty, we now have our smoothie. Now I wasn't able to get the consistency quite to where I would want it if I was going to be spreading it on the plate, so I might look into some additives later, maybe some gelatin or something like that I can use to help kind of firm it or stabilize it up. But in the meantime, I think that means I'm just going to drizzle it over since it's not going to stay in nice little dollops very well. So let's see how this goes. Definitely afraid of ruining what is otherwise a very nice dish right now. Definitely don't want to add too much, that'll quickly become a soupy mess. I have a lot of extra smoothie, of course, so I'm going to enjoy that for brunch later. In the meantime, we have a completed dish. Let's take a close look at it. And there we have it, our pride in cooking fruit salad. I really like some of the techniques that I tried out in this dish, and I'm certainly going to be trying some of them again in the future. Definitely have some practice that I need to do, as well as a little bit of planning when it comes to arranging dishes like this, but overall I think it came out pretty nice. So I wish all of you a happy, fun, and safe Pride Month. I hope that we can all find some color in our lives, as well as take some pride in cooking. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all of your support, and I'm looking forward to carrying on this series. See y'all next time.